This weekend is our first round of East Coast, so I figured this was probably the best time to do a little kind of like preview of who the riders are and kind of just like let's go over kind of how the series has been so far. Yeah? All right. Yeah, I didn't make any video after last weekend. Last weekend was my birthday weekend, and then I got super sick, so I just didn't feel like making a video, so I didn't. But there's one obvious thing that happened that we should probably just bring up at least. Yeah, dude, Jet. Knee. Gnarly. It does seem like with Jet that the only thing that can pretty much stand in the way of a championship is himself. Whether that's like self-destructive type things, which I don't think will happen. I mean, we never know in the future. And just injuries. He rides so freaking fast that it's like if anything just slightly wrong happens, it's a big thing that happens. Although this one was just kind of, it wasn't anything in his control. It was just a freak thing. Anderson just, of course it was Anderson. Anderson just came over on him a little bit, just like barely tapped his front wheel. Just enough to get him off balance where he had to dab his foot. And dabbing a foot when you're standing up going fast like that is just never going to turn out well. And obviously it didn't. So love him or hate him, or I guess if you love him, you're not stoked about this. But if you hate him, you better not be stoked about an injury taking him out. That's never what we want. We want a good championship battle, and we don't want it to end because of an injury. That just sucks. Like, I really do think we were about to have an insane battle between him, Chase, and Eli, and possibly even Ken. Like, Ken looks really good this year, and it's sick that he had the red plate. I don't think he has the red plate now. I think Sexton has it. But I do think that championship battle would have been sick. I think it's still going to be insane, but it would have been really cool if Jet was in there too. But moving on from that, speaking of red plate, how many times do you think that we're going to have the red plate switch this year in the 450 class? I think it's going to be a lot. We've already had 2. Have only Chase and Ken had it? Eli hasn't had it, has he? Jet hasn't had it either. I'm guessing Eli will get it at some point. And then like Chase will get it back, and maybe possibly even Ken will get it. And then it'll go back to whoever ends up winning the championship. But I bet it's going to switch back and forth a lot. And that's going to be sick. Dude, Cole Davies may be my new favorite rider. Like, I love this kid. And he is so sick. His riding style is so good. Like, everybody's saying Deegan and Jet someday, but honestly, these young kids, it's not going to be just Deegan versus Jet. It's like Jet's not just going to have this easy time once all these old dudes retire. Eli goes away. Chase is still going to be there forever. Ken goes away. Anderson goes away. Webb goes away. Like, when all those guys go away, Jet's not just going to have like a Ricky Carmichael kill everybody all the time kind of deal, because these young kids are gnarly, and he probably has himself to blame a little bit for it, because when he was on a 250 doing really good and having really sick style, these kids were like on 80s, and even when he went undefeated in outdoors, these kids might have, when was that? That wasn't last year, the year before? Like, these kids might have been on 80s. I don't know. Jet might have screwed himself by showing people like, hey, you can ride with really good technique and go really fast. Cole Davies is sick. I'm a huge fan of his already. Like, I'm very excited what the future holds for him. And this, between him and Bomer, however you want to say it, everybody thought Deegan, including myself, thought this championship was going to be super easy for Deegan now that, like, Kitchen's out, all the fast dudes are out, Hampshire's not able to defend his title. Not so much. These young kids are gnarly. They are all gnarly. Deegan's young, too. It's not like he's an old guy in the class. They're all sick. Like, when we get a East-West shootout, I know it seems like East Coast is so stacked, but I bet these West Coast kids kind of whoop up on the East Coast boys. I mean, we'll see what they look like, but man, I'm serious. These young kids, it's insane how good they are. I don't even actually know who is lined up East Coast. I better look that up. Can I see like an entry list? 250 entry list. Okay, here we go. All right, Tom Vialle. They got Chance Hymas on a KTM for some reason. Pierce Brown, RJ Hampshire, Max Anstey, Dax Bennett, Nick Romano, Nate Thrasher, Levi Kitchen, Cameron McAdoo, Seth Hammaker, okay, Forkner, okay, this is a gnarly coast. So who do we have in here that's like championship? Vialle, Hymas. I think Pierce Brown's going to be sick this year. I have a bet. I'm kind of pissed that he's on this coast because I made a bet with my brother before Supercross started that he was going to get like top 3 finish at the end of the year. And it's like, this is not an easy coast to do that. Anyways, Hampshire, Anstey, even Bennick, Thrasher, Kitchen, McAdoo, and Forkner. Like, dude, this coast is super gnarly. I'm still standing behind what I said about the young kids on West Coast being stupid fast. And honestly, at East-West shootouts, they might go faster than these guys and might smoke them all. But, dude, this coast is insane. I have high hopes for Forkner, especially with how Smith is riding. Like, Smith has been on good teams, but he hasn't been as good as he looks now. He just won a race. He hasn't won in a long time. So I think that Triumph is sick. I'm sticking behind what I said before the season started. Also, that Kawasaki's seem to have something fundamentally. What am I saying? Oh my God. What did I just say? Fundamentally? Dude, there's no way. Fundamentally. I think there's something fundamentally wrong with Kawasaki's. It's like those frames or something when you push them to the absolute limit, which these guys can do, and you and I cannot. I think for people like you and I, it's a sick bike. But when you push it to its absolute limit, something happens, and those bikes become unrideable. Like something happens, and these guys just wad. Pro Circuit, like every single rider is hurt. Even 450s, Prado's hurt. Seems to be the bike. So Forkner getting off of it, I still think that is... I think that's good for him. I think he's going to do really good. I don't know about championship, but possibly championship. He's obviously fast, and it's like, I'm going to say McAdoo, Kitchen, Hammaker just can't because of the Kawasaki. Like, I don't know. Kitchen, honestly, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't think that Kitchen can do it. I think Forkner can. Hampshire can again. Vialle can. I think Hymas is going to be really good. Brown's going to be fighting for wins. Anstey might... Okay. Anstey is probably going to be pretty sick. That dude has been fighting for wins, not on good teams. Good teams, not factory teams. Now he's on the best bike possible. I think Anstey might be my pick. It might be one of those rides where it's like guys that are good, but they're not the best, all of a sudden get on a Star Yamaha, and it's like they're a completely different rider, and they go stupid fast, and they win. Somebody like Christian Craig or Shane McElrath. It's like they're pretty good dudes, fighting for wins every now and then. Not any kind of championship contenders. They get on that bike, and all of a sudden they're the fastest 250 rider that's ever lived. That might be Anstey. And it's hard to pick against Vialle, Hampshire, Kitchen, Forkner. It's hard to not pick any of those guys. But I think I have to go with Anstey. I think it might be his year. Honestly, the one thing I want more than anything is for Forkner to just make it through and not touch the ground one time. That would be ideal. I would like that a lot. I don't see. Is there any 3-digit numbers that I didn't notice of like some rookies or something? Oh, Max Voland. Have you guys seen what kind of setup he's got? It's kind of crazy. I guess he had some hip injury that messed with his like SI or something like that. And so he can't use his right foot very well, which is his back brake. So they rigged up like a dual lever thing on his left side. So he's got a clutch and a brake lever. Gnarly. Yeah, I think I have to go Ansty. I think I do. I don't know why, but it's speaking to me. So who do I have on each coast? I think before everything started, I picked Deegan on the West Coast. Now I'm like, dude, I want Cole Davies to win. I'm picking Ansty for this coast, and I picked Sexton 450s. So that's where I'm at. What do you guys think? Who are you picking? I'm probably wrong. This coast is going to be gnarly. I'm really excited for the East-West shootouts. Isn't there like 3 this year? Something crazy? I just want Cole Davies to win everything. That kid is so sick. Okay. It is, oh my, dude, it's 128. That was my amateur number as a kid. That's sick. It's 1:28 in the morning. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. You guys let me know who you think is going to win this coast and if you're as excited as I am. Cool. Peace out, boys. One love.